Alright, Shalom. I'd like to give our praises honor and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua Bashem Racha Kodash, double honors the apostles and elders of great mills to not very well. Peace and blessing to the Akimani will push the street to the four corners of the earth, right? I'm gonna go to an article I came across. It says passport free Caribbean travel nears reality. Now we know how these devils does work, right? That is when they mimic the Lord in the sense of like how the Lord had the blessings and the cursings. The blessings for if you listen, and the curses for if you don't. Right? Like a sense of making one comply. Right? These devils just work with a similar concept. That is why it does have things like the credit score rating and all these different things to encourage people to get on board with their agendas, and they will also have penalties for those that don't want to. Like I remember when they had a lot of stores going digital. What it did was that any store that didn't want to comply with the digitalization, they would close them down or make it harder for them to operate. I think it was more along the lines of closing them down. Whereas for the stores that did comply, they had certain little privileges that they were given, and this is how he sort of more or less sway people to conform to his will, right? Like a cheap imitation. Say imagine traveling to another country without reaching for a passport, right? The convenience, the wiles of the devil, always trying to make it look like something good. It said for citizens of Guyana and Barbados, it said that prospect becomes reality on July 1st, 2026. When both countries roll out a system allowing passport-free movement using national EID, right? And that E is something you keep hearing all the time, which E stands for what? Electronic. EID cards and facial recognition technology, which is more or less key things when it comes to this MOTB system, this digitalization system. So we could see that this is here. It's not 20 and 30 years down the road. We are already living in that time. It just has not been fully implemented at the point in time. Right? So a lot of people, they will see these things and still think to themselves that digitalization world is far away, when really and truly we already live in a time where we live alongside this infrastructure. It has not been completely implemented and phased out the old one, but we are more or less living alongside it. It's the initiative places Trinidad and Tobago based novel technology at the center of one of the Caribbean's most ambitious experiments in digital border management. It's under the bilateral agreements announced by Georgetown and Bridgetown. It's eligible citizens holding international civil aviation organization compliant electronic identification cards will be able to travel between the two countries without passports. And all of this traveling and all these different things, we know that this is just privileges to get people into this particular system. So they'll do it by this, do it by things like, getting benefits for food. How it had like the Obamacare and all them different cares, and all these are just different ways that they're going to get people to comply with that particular system. Because when they do finish building that infrastructure, people are not going to be traveling like they used to, because there's no need for it. Because they are going to develop a system where people are just living off of their needs and nothing else. If you don't need a vehicle, you're going to use a bicycle or you're going to walk. If you don't need to go a long distance because there are resources nearby, you can't leave that area. People are going to be living in an environment of need, not wants and desires and all these things that people are accustomed to now. No. You can't make you gonna be living a ration life. They say instead movements will be processed through automated e-gates using biometric verification and facial recognition systems designed to speed up clearance times while strengthening border security. So you see the other day, the US had their issues with the borders and the airlines and so forth, and security issues and all these different things. So what is their resolve after creating the problem? What is their resolve to the problem? AI and robots who never get tired, who never go on strike, and they will be accurate enough to be able to deal with the mundane things that people would usually get scanned for, or whatever the case may be. So you see how this works. They create a system, an inferior system, damage the system to be able to implement a new system, right? By making it look like the first system was crap in the first place when you were the one that created it, right? This arrangement was formally demonstrated on May 25th when Barbados Prime Minister Mia Mottley became the first passenger to be processed through Guyana's upgraded border system using her e-identity, right, or ID. Officials in both countries say the rollout presents a major step towards turning long-standing Caribbean community, CARICOM, into integration goal into practical outcomes for citizens, particularly as both nations prepare to mark 60 years of independence. So I ain't gonna read the whole thing, I could pause up to a little point and people could just pause the video and read and see for themselves. But this is to show you that these people are really in darkness. These people are in darkness because if it is all this happening right in front of their face and people still want to believe that the MOTB system either don't exist or isn't close, then scripture says whatever gospel be hid, it is hidden in the loss. We could see that they already have an infrastructure, and right now they're doing fine-tuning in that infrastructure. But that infrastructure is here, and it is what is taking place behind the scenes. And even so far now to be straight in front of people's faces. Right? And this is what we're waiting for. Because we know that before the Lord returns, these things must come to pass. The prophecy of Revelations 13 and 14 must come to pass. Right? And we hope it's edifying. With that, I say shalom.